welcome back. Well, we have MemorialCare Saddleback Medical Center with us. We have Dr. Mark Taub and Dr. Karen Sharp, and we're going to talk about emergency services. Well, of course, we always need emergency services 24/7, so it must be a really difficult job. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you.
So let's start off just kind of getting an overview of what our geriatric emergency department is.
Okay, well, so here at Saddleback, we have an emergency department here. We've been here many years. We're actually built to help the community of Laguna Woods.
Right.
And over the years, we have focused on many things: stroke, heart attack, hip fractures. But more recently, we've really taken a special interest and effort into getting one of the only, well, actually, we were the first Orange County Hospital to be accredited as a geriatric emergency department.
Okay.
And what that says is the American College of Emergency Physicians has certified us now as a center that is committed to taking care of geriatric patients, and we're putting special programs and processes and equipment in place to give the best possible care.
That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, that's great. And you said you were the first. Are you the only one at this point?
We're the only geriatric ED in all of Orange County, and just a handful across the entire country.
Well, what makes it different? What makes it different? I mean, obviously you said certain types of things are in place, but what would you do differently for the elderly as opposed to someone else?
So we prepared before our accreditation. We created a whole safer, nicer, cleaner environment by putting in new flooring, brighter walls, new fresh painting. We have gurneys that have nice soft mattresses on them to prevent pressure ulcers. We have a food and nutrition area that is available for our families and our patients.
Okay.
And walkers and canes and mobility assistance devices that help our patients when they're discharged to take those things home with them.
Okay, all right, well, that's awesome. And now let's talk about your roles. So let's start with you, Karen.
So I'm the emergency department director. I also oversee the Advanced Wound Healing Center in Mission Viejo. So my job is to oversee all of the activities, as well as my department manager, who is certified as an emergency nurse.
Okay.
He has extra education on geriatric, so he helps train his staff.
Okay, great. And how about you?
Yeah, well, I'm the medical director there,
Yes.
so I've actually been there 25 years since I first got out of residency. Been there my whole life, and I'm in charge of all the medical aspects, working with Karen, with her doctors and nurses.
Wow,
Yeah.
well, that's quite an undertaking,
Yeah.
but so far so good, right?
We love it,
Exciting
yeah.
work. Yeah, we love it.
Excellent. All right, so there have been a few changes in the emergency department. Are you referring to what you mentioned earlier, or are there some other kinds of changes for the accreditation?
Well, those changes are the physical changes.
Okay.
We've also had additional education for, Dr. Taub has taken some educational opportunities for in geriatrics specifically.
Okay.
He also helps with the training for his physician staff, as well as my ED manager has taken education through the Emergency Nurses Association.
I was just going to ask you. So
Yeah.
it's through the association, and do they have to go to a class, or do they come to the folks at the hospital?
They actually took classes. He took classes, but we provide classes through our professional development department. Our age-friendly initiatives also help us with education with our staff.
Okay.
So it's just having that awareness of what our older patient population needs when they come into the ED.
What does the older population look like these days? I mean, I know we're growing, and people over 65, it's getting bigger and bigger. So how are you combating that?
Well, a couple things. First of all, people are healthy. It's great. People, especially in this community, are taking such good care of themselves. It's important to know that our ED, we take care of 40% of our patients are 65 and older. So it's really everything we do. So when we call it a geriatric ED, it's really all we do. So again, it's focusing on things like hip fractures. We have a special hip fracture program in place now to make sure patients get straight to the OR and they get out of the hospital sooner. And just really with seniors, it's important to understand there can be chronic medical conditions. Some are taking many medications, sometimes 10 or more, that can impact things. Sometimes their symptoms are different than younger people too. For instance, heart attacks without any chest pain. So again, that's all the type of things that we really focus on. But sure, it's a pleasure taking care of seniors. We love it.
Another thing is, I think that might be different, and please chime in, is fear. So when you're older, maybe you're a little more fearful than when you might not be the age of 65. Do you run into that?
Well, we do, and I mean, going to an emergency department, it's always scary because it could be noisy and chaotic. But like Karen said, we've done a lot of things to try and make the environment warmer, and our staff and doctors, it's what we do all day. And so we really take the extra effort to take the time, sit down and talk, listen, bring family members in. When it's time to be discharged, if you're going home, we take time to make sure we've connected you with home health or your doctor. So it can be scary, but just ask questions, and we're here to help and make it as good as possible and get you feeling better so you can go home.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you had mentioned the Age Friendly initiative. Can you tell us what that is?
So Age Friendly is through IHI, which is the Institute for Healthcare Improvement. We're one of the only hospitals in the nation that has designed a age-friendly program throughout the hospital. So we work closely with them to identify and recognize when the patient's in the emergency department, the 4 M's. We call it the 4 M's. First is what matters. So what matters to the patient? So we want to be able to recognize that and design their care while they're in the emergency department to what matters to them. What outcomes do they want from their visit? One of the other M's is mobility. We want to address mobility, mentation. How are they having cognition issues?
Okay.
And the last is medications, as Dr. Taub had said. Many elderly patients have 14 or more medications, and we need to be able to look at that while they're in the ED and address those medications that they may be on.
Well, exactly. And when you do get somebody in there, and let's say they had so many medications, do you ever offer any type of advice, like maybe they shouldn't be on some based on what you're finding, or is that just something they should work with their doctor on?
No, if we see that they're on unsafe combinations of things of that sort, we would
Okay.
definitely give advice on that.
Okay.
It's called deprescribing. So that's something that we would look at, and especially as we get older, medicines have different effects. They can build up in our bloodstream, and sometimes all the doctors don't know what someone else has prescribed.
Right.
So it is definitely something we look at, and we always think about too how the medications might be the cause of why the patient's in the ER in the first place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. What else would you like everyone to know about this accreditation?
Well, we've partnered with Laguna Woods. We would love, to let you know that we're here. That's why we're here, is for this community.
Right.
We just feel that we are more able to recognize and to help our patients feel comfortable in a very scary, fearful environment for many folks, and that we have the education and background and training at this facility above and beyond what other hospitals can provide in this area. So we're very proud of that.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah, and I'd mirror what Karen was saying. Just let people know we're literally there 24/7.
Right.
Waiting to help anyone who comes there. And I'd also say it doesn't have to be something major like a heart attack or stroke. If it's something small, maybe you hurt your ankle, you have a cough, you're not quite sure if you need help, come on over and we'll figure it out for you. We're really there and right across the street ready to help anyone.
Yeah, well, you're right there,
Yeah.
right? Like you said, right across the street.
Right across the street waiting to help.
How convenient is that?
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you very much. It was
Thank
very
you.
nice to meet both of you.
Thanks
and
for having
meet
us.
good luck. It sounds awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome. And if you want more information about what we just discussed, you can always go to memorialcare.org/Saddleback. We'll be right back.